from council, I will call again on to the members that are sitting for the Court of Revision to see if you'll move and or second it, as long as it's okay with everyone. Julie, did you leave? Just don't, no, I see you, sorry. So I'd like to call this meeting to order. And Terry, would you move the opening of this Court of Revision for the Willoughby Municipal Drain?
I will do so.
Julie, will you second it?
Yes, I will.
If there's no one opposed to that, I'll consider that carried. That's carried. Right now, we'd like to go through if there's any disclosures of pecuniary interest. Are there any declared at this time? Please do so now. None declared. From number 3, the list of appeals of assessments from the clerk. Has the court received any appeals? We good to go or no? On technical.
Oh, just have to make sure.
We're good now. So do I need to do anything over again?
Nope. To date, we have not received any appeals in regards to the Willoughby Municipal Drain.
Okay, thank you. No appeals have been received. Do we have any comments from the engineer tonight for this particular drain? Mr. Bill Dietrich, is he?
So, I'm just going to chime in here. Bill, he wasn't going to show. We had no correspondence from anybody, any of the landowners. There's been no comment. We're good to go on this one.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Scott. I would like to advise that the purpose of the Court of Revision is to hear appeals regarding the schedule of assessment only. The Court of Revision has no authority to change the engineer's report in any way. The schedule of assessment may be altered, but the total must remain the same. If one assessment is reduced, then the other assessments must be increased to balance. Do we have any questions from the sitting Court of Revision members for the Willoughby Municipal Drain? Unseen. Councillor Johnson, you'll just, we have the 3, unless, I don't think, is Mr. Duncan still on the line? You'll just have to listen in, Dave, until we get the next one queued up. Do we have any questions from the landowners who happen to be listening? Unseen. So the Court of Revision's decision. So I think we're just going to go ahead and sustain the assessments as presented by the engineer. Julie, would you like to move that?
Sure.
Terry, would you like to second that?
I will second that. Thank you.
Court of Revision hereby sustains a schedule of assessments to the engineer to the report of the Willoughby Municipal Drain 2020 prepared by Dietrich Engineering Limited. If there's no one opposed, I will consider this carried. No opposition seen, so carried. So for Willoughby Drain, I would like to call for not yet. All parties of the drain will receive a written notice to the Court of Decision, which will contain additional information on the progress to appeal the decision of the Court of Revision to the Ontario Drainage Tribunal. I call for an adjournment. Terry, will you move the adjournment for the for the Court of Revision for the Willoughby Municipal Drain?
Yes, I will. I'll move that.
Julie, will you second?
Yes, I will.
Nothing opposed to closing this. We will consider it closed. Hear nothing. We hereby close the Court of Revision dealing with the Willoughby Municipal Drain 2020. Closed. And we'll move on. Just give me 2 seconds here and we'll move on to the Danbrook A and B. Matt Duncan, if you're still listening, and we have Councillor Johnston here, that we can have all 5 for the Danbrook A and B. Is Matt still here?
I'm here.
Okay, so just give me 2 seconds to get ready and we'll get into the Danbrook and we can have 5 members for this one. So Dave, you're on deck too.
Good, thank you.
Okay. I'd like to call our second quarter revision to order. Like I did in the last one, I'm just going to call on selected people with no particular order to either move and second it. And then if I do not hear anything to the contrary, we'll consider that it carried. So I'm going to call this meeting to order at 6:35. Moved by Councillor Johnston that we open this quarter revision for the Danbrook A and BJ drains.
Yes, I would so move that.
Matt Duncan, will you second that for opening this court?
I will second that.
We hereby open the quarter revision dealing with the Danbrook A and B drains. At this time, I'd like to call on any disclosures of pecuniary interest. If there are any declared, please do so at this time. None noted. I'd like to ask the clerk if there's been any appeals received by a court. This particular drain.
No, in regards to the Danbrook A and B drains, I did not receive any written appeals.
Thank you, Pat. We'll now take comments from the engineer, Brandon Widener from Spreet Associates Engineers and Architects. Brandon, do you have any comments on this particular drain?
No, I don't have any comments. We've received no information or complaints from any of the landowners. And there's only a couple on this drain with only about 2 receiving a large portion of the cost. We've heard nothing from them, so I see no reason to proceed.
Okay, great. Thank you. Now would be the opportunity for any verbal appeals from landowners. The purpose of the Court of Revision is to hear appeals regarding the schedule of assessment only. The Court of Revision has no authority to change the engineer's report in any way. The Court of Revision has the schedule of assessment may be altered, but the total must remain the same. If one assessment is reduced, the other assessments must be increased into balance. Are there any landowners who wish to make comment at this time? Okay. Mr. Richardson, Scott, do you have any comments as you've been discussing this with the landowners?
Nothing here, Matt. No correspondence there from any landowners. Thank you.
Thanks, Scott. Okay. Okay. If it, pardon me, if it pleases the court, we have Mr. Terpstra. He's trying to call in. He is having some technical issues. I do believe he would like to hear about this. So if we could just take a couple of minutes recess before we go ahead with the notice of assessments. As soon as we get him, a moment, please. Just hold, please, everyone. Mr. Terpstra, are you with us?
Yes, I am. Ron.
Okay.
Terpstra.
Great, thank you. So we're just in the middle of this drain, and we'll be right back with you.
Okay, great.
Matt, Scott here. Ron, he was a part of that first drain that went through there, or for the Willoughby.
For the Willoughby?
That's right.
Yep.
Okay. Paperwork issues, folks. All righty. So the court has come to the decision that the Court of Revision will hereby sustain the schedule of assessments of the engineer report for the Danbrook A and B drains prepared by Spread Associates Engineers and Architects. Could that be moved by Matt Duncan?
I'll move that.
Julie, will you act as a seconder for that?
Yes, I will.
There's no opposition to that from the Court of Revision members. We will consider that carried. So if you oppose, say it now. If not, we will consider it carried. None taken at this time. That motion is carried. All parties to this drain will receive a written notice to the Court of Decision which will contain additional information on the process to appeal the decision of the Court of Revision to the Ontario Drainage Tribunal. At this time, I would like to call for a motion for adjournment for this Danbrook and A and B drain for the Court of Revision. Terry Seiler, will you move this?
I will move that.
Councillor Johnston, will you second that?
Yes, I would second that.
Hereby close this Court of Revision dealing with the Danbrook A and B drains. Mr. Derfster, did you have any questions regarding the Willoughby drain that we had just gone through? Yeah, I think you just missed it just by a few minutes.
Yeah, I just missed it.
Do you have any comments or concerns regarding that now that it's gone through? Like now is your opportunity to say so.
Well, I missed everything, so yeah, I'm fine with everything. I guess what you guys came up with.
Oh, okay. That's good to hear. So wonderful. If there's no other questions, both courts are closed. We will hereby be done with this meeting of the Court of Revision for these two drains. So thanks everyone, and we'll see you in a bit at council.